Hi friends, this is our second video here on the YouTube. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the great content that's coming your way. This has been a dream of mine, a goal of mine for as long as Reach has been a thing, which is about a year. And it just took a little bit of extra momentum to help you guys out. I know people are struggling right now, and I hope that these videos can give you some light and encouragement and teach you some tools that will help you get through these tough times. So our first video was all about setting up a brand new budget and what that looks like. And today we're going to take a look at what you do at the end of the month. Setting up a budget closing up your budget at the end of the month is almost as important as getting it started. You need to make sure that you followed your plan and know where you're at when you're heading into the new month ahead. So let's get started taking a look at the numbers. Dun, 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 dun. Welcome to the March budget. I like to close up my end of month budget. I like to wrap it up when I get my paycheck for the month ahead. So once I get paid for April, or once our last paycheck for March comes in, that's when I like to close things up. So I'm just going to show you on here a few things that I do at the end of the month before I start the new month. So as I receive them, I put the right numbers in, but obviously my numbers were wrong. There was a bonus on this one, and it just, the first thing that I do at the end of the month is adjust my planned income so that I know how much money I'm working with as I kind of balance things out. So Daniel's paychecks were more than I based them on, and I always try to base them on the minimum amount that they could be. Also, these dates are wrong. I set this up specifically to be able to show you guys, but it's hard to get all the details right when you're working in the middle of a pandemic, but that's okay. So we'll call it that. So we take his end of February check and his March check, and that is our March money. Those match, and then I based my plan on the $1,500 teacher development fund check I knew that was coming. That was part of the money that we used to go to Atlanta. I knew that I was going to get that money this month, and so I based my plan on that. But I also got a little profit sharing check from my local grocery store. So I just do some quick math here. Oh no, it was right there all along. I didn't even need to do quick math. But I just make this all match so that then when I am balancing things out, I can sort of see how I can adjust. So scrolling down, we'll come back up and talk about my sinking funds in a minute. If there's zero remaining here, it means that I paid. My life insurance is $373.06. That's how much I paid. That's all good. Basically, when it's remaining, when it's not a sinking fund, you want that to be at zero, probably. But here, so I'm going to look at my gas, and I only spent $141 on gas this month. Thank you to cheap gas prices, and we haven't left the house in 2 weeks. So I can adjust that. Whoopsies. What did I do? That was weird. Maybe I'll have to change that. Oh yeah. So what you want to do is, I know what I did. I looked at my remaining instead of my spent. So if you make this say spent, then you can align your plan with what you actually spent. And then the number up at the top here is going to go up so you can see what you have left over. We didn't do any car maintenance this month. This is actually a sinking fund in our, oh yeah, that shows as a sinking fund. So we didn't spend anything there. Our car insurance adds up. That's how much it was. Our groceries. Every dollar's awesome. It shows you when you went over. Obviously, this month has been an anomaly, and so we're a little bit over on our groceries, and truthfully, I've already adjusted that a little bit from what I had initially planned, but now I can make it match because I didn't spend as much money in gas. I'm able to kind of just shift it a little bit. Same with restaurants. I only spent $167, so I'll make that match. And we went a little bit over on our booze spending, but honestly, who can blame us? We are in the middle of a pandemic. So now all of those, my plan matches what I spent, and I keep on going. Now, I also want to make sure that I've tracked all of my spending. So yesterday we ordered some pet food online so that we didn't have to go into the pet store, and I just do a double check of the amount and then track that expense. So once it's tracked, I know what's remaining. This is a sinking fund, so I don't adjust my plan. It just means that whatever's left over rolls into my sinking fund for next month or whenever I need it. Clothing, I only spent $48.57. Dance fees were low this month, but again, that's a sinking fund. You can see here the little piggy reminds us that it's a little piggy bank, a little bit of savings. Guitar got canceled for 2 weeks, so that was less. Now, I went over in my miscellaneous, and I'm going to adjust to show you that. Now, I'll also tell you that I didn't actually go over that much. I track my things like my therapy or like I pay it, and then we submit it to 2 different healthcare providers to get the money back. So I have a bunch of payments in my miscellaneous right now. In my actual budget, this is not my actual budget. This is my, let's show people on the internet my budget. But I have things like Daniel bought fancy diabetes Band-Aids that are $99. We'll get that money back and it will go into here. So please don't think I went crazy and overspent. It's just kind of a timing thing. Anyways, let's keep going. We're going to finish adjusting all of this all the way down. This, I know I had an extra payment, but that's okay. So making sure everything just lines up with what I spent. Oopsies. You've got to make sure you're looking at the right numbers or things get jumbled, and it's stressful to do it on video. So just making sure that what you spent aligns with your plan. And then at the very end, you're able to see what you have left over. So up here it shows I have $1,044 left over at the end of March. If you're working on, again, we've talked about this in how to set up your budget, but this money needs to focus on wherever your goals are. So if your goal is getting out of debt, then you can take all of that extra money, the extra income that you had on your checks or your bonus cash or whatever that looks like, wherever you manage to save, and put it on your smallest debt. If you are working on building up your emergency fund, then you can put it in there. My emergency fund is at $1,500. That's not right. This is what happens when you make fake budgets. Our emergency fund is at $15,000, and so I'm not worried about that. Wasn't my focus at the beginning of March. I would take that extra $1,044 and I would put it down here in my Disneyland fund. So if I change this amount, my plan to 0, that tells me all the money I have left. And because we're going to Disneyland in the fall, and oh my goodness, I am going to Disneyland in the fall, so pandemic needs to go away. I can put, what? It's tricky when you transpose numbers. I can put all that money in here, and I haven't spent it, but I have accounted for it in my budget. So it's an every dollar budget for the end of the month, making sure that everything is accounted for. The last thing that I do is I go through and I check and see how much is, if you just toggle back and forth between spent and remaining. So I want to know how much is remaining in all of my sinking funds, all my piggy banks, because then I know how much money I need to move from my checking account over to my savings account where I keep all my sinking fund money. So I'm going to add up my pet care and what's left over in my dance fees, my dance expenses, my Wicked tickets that I should be able to buy in April. I don't think I'll be able to buy Wicked tickets, but I'm going to take all of these totals and just make sure that what I have in my sinking fund savings account matches that number. And then just transferring the money so that I don't get confused. Maybe I've confused you more in explaining that, but that's how I do it. Yeah. So that is kind of my wrap up at the end of the month, just making sure that everything is matched and aligned and that my plan matches both what came into my account and what went out of my account. I do my tracking as the month goes by, but that is the topic of a video in the future. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, make sure you drop them below and subscribe. You can check out more information on our blog, reachformore.ca, or follow us on Facebook or Instagram, Reach for More blog, on all platforms.